Welcome to the Steelers Realm Podcast. And now, here are the boys of Steelers Realm, New Jersey Dev, JT, and the famous TA.
Oh, yeah, it's time for another Steelers Realm podcast. What's going on, Steelers Nation? I'm one of your hosts, JT, here with Steelers Realm podcast. Great to be back with you. A little bit early, heading towards a weekend. Nice little extended one. But big news, OTAs, all kind of stuff going on. Let me bring on our guest tonight. Back again this week. It is CJ. What's going on, CJ? How was your week so far, brother?
Can't complain. The Pirates just keep losing. That's what we want. We need a good draft pick.
You know, the last time I looked at a score, it was 18-something.
18-4. Just another Cubs? Normal day. Just another normal day.
Normal day. Well, hey, man, we're pretty excited to bring on another guest tonight, and it's Freight Train coming in from Ohio. What's up, brother?
What's happening, JT and CJ? I'm proud to be on. Life is good, as always. Go Steelers. Hello, Steelers Nation.
Yeah, welcome, man. We got a good trio tonight. Hey, want to send a shout out to the famous TNA. Well, we had to joke around it, but anyhow, he's got graduation this weekend, so hands full hosting some family and stuff too. So enjoy yourself, brother. We'll see you back next week. Have a great weekend, TA.
It only took him like 35 years to get that high school diploma. So hats off to him.
That's a good one. I can't wait for him to get back to us on that too. But yeah, guys, a big week going on here. The clock just keeps ticking. We had the mini camp, the rookie mini camp, and now we yesterday started the OTAs. We're going to get into that. Got a full lineup here, maybe the off season. We're not playing yet, but we got lots to talk about, certainly. We'll get into that. Also, I believe the GM search may be over. You'll have to stick around to hear the final if you haven't heard so far. And also touch base on some other news regarding Haskins and some possible rule changes. And then we're going to have Freight Train tell you about the new dawn of a new age and what he means by that. But anyhow, guys, if you're up for it, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. What's going on with the OTAs? I haven't really peeked in too much. Been too busy studying for this insurance license exam, which is tomorrow. But what's going on there, man? Who's in? Who's showing? Anybody showing up that we're not expecting? Anybody not showing up that we are? What's up?
Well, most importantly, Tyson Alualu. I can never pronounce his name correctly, but he seems to be back.
That's good.
And then just as important too, note to it. I don't know if you guys saw, but Hayward came out and he said, he's talked with Tuitt. He knows he's training, and that was kind of what he wanted to leave it at. He wanted to deal with the people that were with them in Pittsburgh and just kind of wanted to leave that subject alone. But it is good to hear Hayward kind of speak out that he's spoken with Tuitt. I think that's a good sign moving forward. Now, I don't love the contract, but he's still a very important part to the Steelers football team, and more importantly, that he can get right mentally. He went through a tragedy, and that's a tough thing to deal with. So hopefully he's moving forward with that.
Yeah, well, I had a chance to hear that interview this morning, but I was going to ask you, Freight Train, what your thoughts were on that. So go ahead.
Well, I'm excited to get to it back because he's a big component of what we struggled with last year with our run defense. I mean, TA could have went out there and rushed for 100 yards plus against this defense. I'm not giving him a touchdown, but I'll give him 100 yards at least. The thing with Tuitt, man, is in football, the biggest ability is availability. It seemed like every time we turned around, he was struggling with an injury of some sorts. And, we just need him to stay on the field. He's a presence out there, both with run and the pass rush. He helps TJ on that side. So, not saying TJ needs more help, but who wouldn't want more help, So,
and he and as you said, he's big when it comes to, the rush defense. And up until last year when he didn't played, throughout his career, I'm just going to rattle these off. Rookie year, 16 games played. Next 2 years, 14 games played, 2017, 12, 2018, 14, 2020, 15. Up until last year, he's been on the field. And it was kind of, and whether it was an injury, a personal thing, and it was mainly a personal thing with his brother passing away. It was just kind of one of those things that hopefully he can come back in the right state of mind and actually wants to be there. If he doesn't want to be there, then that's not good for the Steelers, because then he could just pack it in, collect a check. And I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but.
Well, and then the other name you mentioned was Tyson Alualu. I really think Tyson came into his own last year. I mean, that first year he's here, there were some flashes in the pan there, but that second year, my goodness, before he got hurt, he was stuffing the run. He was getting pressure on the quarterback. That's what that team needs, is that guy in the middle that can plug some holes but make some plays. I don't think we've had anybody like that since Casey Hampton.
I completely agree with that.
That's the biggest part of running this type of defense with the blitzes coming everywhere. You need that big body in the middle that can plug some holes and free up the guys. Like, hopefully Devin Bush comes back and plays like Devin Bush. But this defense has a chance to be a very fast defense. But you need that guy in the middle that can plug some holes and hold some guys up.
Sure.
To kind of
I'm going to throw another game just to finish that point there, Freight Train. Hargrave was probably the last guy other than Tuitt.
Yeah, but he really took off when he went to the Eagles.
Yeah,
that's where he really made a name for himself, was at the Eagles organization, which we'll get into that a little bit later in the GM hire. But I think once he left us and he really came into his own. He just needed a little bit more time.
To move to the other side of the ball, when it comes to the end line, I don't know if you guys saw this too, but James Daniels, reports are coming out that he's taken control of that room and being a leader. And I think
good.
With as young as that group is on that side of the ball, that's something that is so important. Now, obviously, Zach Banner was kind of the veteran in the room, but he never played, right?
Yeah.
He never
snap
played.
Or two.
Whereas, yeah, exactly. With Daniels coming in, though, it's something that those guys like Kendra Green, so on and so forth, people like that, can look at him and say, this is a veteran, this is a proven veteran, this is how you have to do it, right? We kind of talked a few episodes back, a few weeks ago, that we wanted to kind of see that in the wide receiver room. So I'm curious to see how this plays out when it comes to O-line gelling a little better this year and maybe being a little more effective. So it's good to see stuff like that coming out right now this early in the year.
Yeah. Well, he's that piece that we need to excel in the run game, of the guy that can push the pocket, move guys back, be the road grader. And James Daniels, I think, is a key component that he can lead by example. It's very, very young, like what you said, CJ. And I think he's what they were really missing. They didn't have that last year. They had a bunch of guys that were kind of there just to be there. Again, flashes in the pan by some guys, but there was not that consistent force on the line at all.
Yeah, I mean, Trey Turner was just kind of there collecting a check. He came off an injury. Prior to that injury, I mean, he was a very good NFL offensive lineman. After the injury and even watched him last year, he was a shell of his former self. But he's the type of guy that you would have hoped when he came in would have commanded that room and kind of showed those young guys exactly this is you being a pro, right? This is how you have to do it. This is how you have to go about your business. And he didn't do that. He was more worried about spitting on players than actually doing his gosh darn job. But I'll leave that for another day.
Well, taking a step back here, for those Steeler Nation fans out there, OTAs are optional team activities, right? Freight train, is that what that stands for?
Yes.
So they're optional right now. They don't become mandatory until what is that? Mini camp is what, June 14th through the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to give you a little background on that. Obviously we have some positions. Everybody's trying to position for here. They're getting to know each other. What else is going on back there? Obviously, we've got 3 quarterbacks. So this quarterback competition is beginning. We talked about this before we came on too. Right now, they're listing Mitch, the number 1 guy on the depth chart. Right? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Mason
they are.
2, and of course the rookie, 3rd on the depth chart. But I think you're going to see that's we talked about this too, going down to training camp to just see how this all shakes out. It's going to be pretty exciting. But anything else that we're looking for? When does this wrap up? Too, I don't have that date in front of me here. When does the?
I believe tomorrow is the last day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe Thursday.
So, do anything else really come out of that so far?
Not really. Obviously we kind of hit on everything else. Najee,
Well,
there's some cool highlights of Najee doing some drills.
I'm kind of interested to see where Kendra Green, comes into this offensive line play. I think he was in the wrong position last year, very undersized, kind of got pushed around, bullied around. Now, I'm going to take it back a little bit. There was a guy named Mike Webster that was an undersized center and excelled very, very well. But Mike Webster had always played that position. Kendra Green came into the league playing guard at Illinois. True. 2 different parts of the line, a lot different responsibilities. I think he just had way too many things running through his mind to be able to play center. Now we have Mason Cole that can slide in there and be that guy that's played the position before and can handle it. Kendra Green, I really think he can play if he's just given a position and just there's where you're playing. Or he can be that second string guy that comes in and spells somebody. I think he has the attitude, and that's key of being a Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to have that tough mentality. And I think Kendra Green has that.
But, I do too. I think he was kind of put in a pretty tough situation last year.
Yeah.
I've mentioned before, being a rookie center, you just don't see that too often. Just using an example, I was kind of looking at Linderbaum and what they were expecting out of him, the first round pick for, it escapes my mind right now. I was just reading this the other day. The amount that guy has to learn in protections and run block in different things and call outs in the offense is he's a first round pick, right? So you would think he's going to be starting from day one. They're not expecting him to. And that's something the Steelers kind of put on Kendra Green from day one as a 3rd round pick. So again, I think him sliding over to guard is going to be good for him in his long-term career. I'm not expecting a lot from him. I think he can be a solid backup interior lineman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
good for him. I am curious though to see maybe this does kind of unlock something for him in terms of.
I mean, there's videos and pictures of him out there, training with Pouncey. Maybe he can pick something up through that.
Hopefully picked up getting stronger, because so many times last year off the ball, he was
Pushed around.
2-3 yards in the backfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that has to deal with, I think that has to also deal with kind of what we said, playing the center, being worried about this, and this. As a rookie, you're kind of not ready. So,
Well, listen, guys, I definitely want to get into the biggest news of today that's out there. But before we do that, got to get a plug out here. Support for Steelers Realms being brought to you by Manscaped, who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Freight Train, we're going to have to hook you up with some Manscaped products. They are definitely precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. And we got a little something special for you, too. We have a special promo code. Let me get it up here for you. 20% off right there. Manscaped.com plus free shipping if you use the promo code REALM20 at manscaped.com. So check it out, guys. Some great products out there to keep those shiny jewels shiny. And guess what? I'm going to borrow a saying. The ladies like it too. So they certainly appreciate that too. So manscaped.com, enter enter Realm 20 and get you 20% off plus free shipping anywhere in the world. So with that said, guys, big news of the day. Freight Train, take it away.
Well, it looks like we're going with Omar Kahn as the GM. I kind of assumed this was what was going to happen. It seemed to me like he was kind of Kevin Colbert's prodigy. They've been together for 20 years. I kind of thought that was the writing on the wall. They did their due diligence in, interviewing some different people. But I really think that it went to the guy that really deserved it. I think he did a very good job at handling the salary cap situations. I mean, let's face it, man. We do a very, very good job at drafting very, very good talent. And guess what? When you keep them in town, you got to pay them. You have to pay them those contracts. And I think he did a very good job of, restructuring some deals when they got older to help plug in, to get role players in here to fill some voids that we needed to fill. And then we brought in Andy Weidl to take care of the scouting side. I think Andy did a heck of a job in Philly. I think he's going to give us an element on trying to develop and to bring in guys that are good in the trenches. Because if you think of the Philadelphia Eagles, they've always been good in the trenches, offensive line, defensive line. And I think he took over in 2015, if I'm correct, either 14 or 15. And they hadn't skipped a beat. They won the Super Bowl in 2016. Great offensive line, great defensive line. And I think that's really what we've been lacking within our own scouting department, is getting guys in here that can play those positions. We can draft, all the offensive weapons that we can see. We need some help in the scouting of the trench guys. And yeah, I think that'll really help us.
Well, hey, they cast a very large net when it came to finding this new GM. And it just so happened that he was in our backyard.
Yeah, the whole time.
It's very interesting.
So is Andy Weidl. He's from Pittsburgh as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And that's kind of another cool thing to think about this. Now, Omar was, as you said, he was the cat man. He handled all the contracts and all that stuff and structuring them and how to do them. His first, we're going to learn very soon, how he feels about extending young talent with Deonte Johnson. Is it going to be a firm and fair deal? Are they going to overpay him? Or is this going to be something that he believes that he can go into the draft with as many young wide receivers that come out each and every year? There's a plethora of them now. There's almost a surplus, that he believes that he can go out and find someone in the second, third round to replace him. That's the first thing we're going to see. And it's going to be interesting to see him, how do I want to say this, his attitude towards that. It's going to be very interesting going forward.
Well, it's not just Deonte, it's Minka Fitzpatrick as well.
Yeah.
Minka's up for a contract. Who would you rather give a brand new contract to?
I'm giving it to
or
Minka.
Deonte?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's
I'm
what
ready.
I don't think that's a question. Minka's going to get his money.
Yeah, he'll get his.
There's so few safeties in the league compared to wide receivers. That's why I kind of think this is very interesting in what he does with Deonte.
Well, and I'm not trying to get off topic, but is Deonte Johnson really worth number one money?
No.
Because to me, I don't think he really is a number one wide receiver. You know, he doesn't have the football IQ of being a number one, and the drops, the stone hands, they show up. You know, he did better last year,
Right.
but towards the end, when we really needed it the most, he dropped some very, very big passes that a number one wide receiver should not make.
Well, he's got the tennis ball thing going on. That's supposed to help.
Well, maybe he needs to hit the U.S. Open with the tennis balls.
Well, one final thought that I wanted to throw in there, and I saw that today, and I can't quote where I saw it, but I saw somewhere where he was ranked 32nd in receivers.
I believe it.
Low 1, high 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so difficult in that decision.
So
right?
He's going to have to come to some reality there. But
well, what do you think the Pittsburgh front office thinks by drafting George Pickens about Deonte Johnson? Because right there could possibly be your new number one.
Could be. Yeah.
You know, I really do think that.
I don't know about you guys, but I have to agree with one social media poster that said, this may be wrong, but I can't wait to see him in his first scrap, his first fight.
Yeah.
Because he is a scrapper.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know who he reminds me of? You know, I love the way he played too. It's number 86.
Well, of course, we all did.
So, all right. Well, let's keep moving along here. Other news came out about Dwayne Haskins. The blood tests came back, and it looks like there was two separate tests on the alcohol, the blood alcohol level, 2.0, 2.4. And if Florida is like Pennsylvania, I'm not sure what it is over in Ohio for a train, but 0.08 is a legal limit. And he was
Same here.
well over double that, including testing positive for the drug. What do you say? Ketamine? Is that it? Ketamine?
Ketamine.
Norketamine.
Yes.
Now, I don't know much about that, but is that like a user drug? Is that something maybe somebody drugged during their outing, or what's
no? And I'll
on the street with that.
It's definitely an abused drug.
It's more of a sedation type drug, pain relief, sedation, something like that.
Yeah, it's not a roofie. He definitely knew he was taking it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what does that tell us, though? I mean, it's so unfortunate. You know, an accident it's tragic. What led up to it, which is what we hope others can avoid a situation like that. But was that an abusive thing, or was it? I mean, are we ever going to know that? I don't know.
I don't think we're ever going to find out. I mean, there's stories out there. And I don't want to give some of them any credence. This is sad.
Rightly so. Yeah. It's a sad situation overall.
The worst thing about it is ultimately what Dwayne did in Washington was his undoing and ended tragically for him here in Pittsburgh. And I don't know if it was some sort of a relapse. But like you guys said, it's a very, very sad situation. And I'm still trying to get over it because I was the one calling everybody and saying, this is going to be our starter next year. I had true belief that Dwayne was going to come out, light the world on fire, and be the starter. I mean, us Ohio guys, we watched him at Ohio State.
Yeah, you did.
And he set passing records at Ohio State. Now, Ohio State quarterbacks, we could get into that in a
I mean,
whole
I've
other
had
show.
about as much success as Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL.
Right. But there was something that was different about Dwayne. Dwayne had that AFC North quarterback type body and had the arm strength to whip it through the wind and whip it in with the cold weather. And it's just a really sad situation. And, you know, to really dive down deep into it now, I'm going to show you. I have all these notes to go off of for tonight's show, but I'm going off script right here. I'm speaking from the heart. Was this a Steelers personnel mess up? You know, it's kind of like, you know, when you have a house and you have shingles up on your house, you see a couple missing here and there, you're going to repair it. You're going to do the preventative measures to keep your house from getting leaks. And you know, what were we doing with Dwayne? Were we not keeping tabs? Because what I read was the Steelers brass had no idea that this was going on. All they knew is he went out to the club with a guy named Joey. You know, why were we not keeping tabs on Dwayne when we knew what situations he was putting himself in Washington to keep him from doing that? Everybody that is a Steelers fan, as soon as Dwayne came here, said, this is the best situation Dwayne could come into.
Right.
And we couldn't have been more wrong because look what happened. The guy lost his life. What did we do to allow this to happen? Now, I'm not saying that it's their job to babysit everybody, but
Right.
at some point when you have somebody with a problem, you set them up for success. Hey, are you struggling in this? Here, we'll send you off to this rehab for a week or two. We want what's best for you, Dwayne, because we're a family-oriented organization. That's what we strive on. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers is known as, is a family business. Once a Steeler, always a Steeler. What happened?
Yeah, we seem to be trending with some personnel problems in the wide receiver area and others. Who was it? El Bell and who else were caught smoking a joint on the way to the plane?
LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And with a name like Blunt, what do you expect? But Martavis, there's a perfect example. Dude, I was down at his rookie camp. He was all over the place. The dude had more talent than any receiver there, real raw talent. And what a shame. And then the AB, the whole
debacle.
Debacle that is never ending.
Mm-hmm.
Bring him back, baby.
You never know.
Give him the paper. Let him sign the 1 day. Get out of the building.
Yeah.
Here's the chair. There's the door. Yes. Thank you.
I just think that, you know, Dwayne was, you know, he was down in Florida training and all that stuff. And he's 24 years old, made some bad decisions, right? And cost him his life. And that's kind of all I want to go on that. Listen, I'll crap on AB all day. I'll crap on Martavius Bryant. You name it, I'll say it. Like, as you said, that guy still has so much talent, right? And he just couldn't kind of get out of his own way. And, you know, some people are kind of like that. You know, as sad as it is, some people are just kind of like that.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to see. I am surprised that no one has given him a third chance, Martavius.
Because he can't give a clean test. That's what it boils down to. I mean,
Well,
Listen,
let me ask you this, guys. Didn't they drop marijuana from the banned list, or did they just back off on the level of punishment for being fond? I thought they took that off the list.
I think they pulled back on the disciplinary part. I don't think they took it off the ban list. But
yeah, they're
I
still
think they
testing for it.
Yeah. Josh Gordon is waiting for that day to come, but it just hasn't happened yet.
They only test for 4 months
Oh,
out of the year.
so you got 8 that hey, keep your nose clean for 4 months and then smoke them if you got them for the rest of the 8 months that you have off.
But that's kind of, I want to kind of continue somewhat with the Dwayne thing. Is that's what I'm wondering with the Omar Kahn hiring. Are we going to continue that bar that was set high with Kevin Colbert on this is a family organization? We strive to add trophies to that trophy room, but we want to do it right. Okay. The standard is the standard. Let's keep it that way. Player personnel, that's huge, especially in today's day and age. Everybody, gets, ticked about something. They get offended that, if I don't get my way, I'm going to go off and do my own thing. Okay. We need to be able to talk to these people. This isn't, the 90s and the 80s anymore. We got to kind of tweak some things, and that's what I'm more interested to see. And that kind of dials into my dawn of the new age kind of quote, I guess you could call it. I want to see if they can continue what Kevin Colbert has laid out and followed. This is a new age. We don't have Ben Roethlisberger to come back on anymore. This is a very young team. I mean, this is probably one of the youngest teams in the NFL.
Especially offensively.
Especially offensively. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only person on the team right now that can really prove the Steeler way anymore is Cam Hayward. The leader of this team. But it starts at the top. Okay. It starts at the top to where you let these guys know this is how things are done here. We are professionals. When you think of the Pittsburgh Steelers, you think of Super Bowls and the family tradition and the professionalism that this organization is known for. And that should never change.
One word sticks out to me, Freight Train, and that is character.
Absolutely.
It used to be Steelers would not even look at anybody if there were any character flaws or any background. Do you remember a receiver, Cedric Wilson? You remember that name?
His son plays for the Cowboys now.
Okay. Do you remember how he came into Pittsburgh from the 49ers, I believe, and a one-off season, there was a situation. You remember what that was?
I believe it was battery.
Yes.
Battery
yes.
assault.
It was
Correct?
a white battery thing. He was gone. They didn't mess around. He was gone.
Mm-hmm.
James Harrison had a little bit of an issue kind of following that, but defensive player of the year or whatever, all the accolades, he got frowned upon, but managed to stay on the team. But nonetheless, Steelers have been known over the years for being strict, strictly adhering to their expectations for strong character and a lack of skeletons in these players' closets.
Right.
So that's what they were looking for. All the talent in the world, but if there were character flaws or things like that, they would not. They just wouldn't touch them.
Mm-hmm.
Just wouldn't touch them. It wasn't worth the hassle. But I don't know. Is it a culture thing now? Have they changed their ways a little bit now? I mean, we're kind of getting off track a little bit and a little bit deep here, but nonetheless, I've seen, and anybody that's been watching the Steelers for decades, can spot some serious trends. Now, maybe we'll just kind of hit a spell here with some odd player situations, but I don't know. To change, is Kahn going to turn it around? I don't know.
Well, I think Kevin Colbert has kept him close in his pocket for a while now, so I don't think there's going to be some dramatic drop off. I really think this was the number one guy going in. This is who they wanted, but they did their due diligence. I'm really hoping Brandin Hunt stays. Hopefully they can give him an upgraded title or throw some more money out to him. But it really looks like we kind of just did kind of a swap with Andy Weidl, and Brandin Hunt's probably on his way to the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
But
I believe that Hunt's going to end up in Buffalo under Bean. He interviewed there, I believe, last week, and I think that's where he's going to end up, which would be a good fit for him. I saw a thing too that was very interesting, and I should have said this earlier with Omar Kahn. He started interviewing for GM jobs starting in 2011. So for 11 years, he's been interviewing. And I believe he's had 9 different interviews. And then finally the Steelers opens up and he's their guy. And again, I should have said this earlier, but how good do you think that feels for that man to start interviewing for your dream job 11 years earlier and then finally getting it with the organization that gave you your start? And there's numerous organizations such as just off the top of my head, Denver, the Bears, and the Lions, where he could have ended up there and then got canned after 3 years. Now he's got a chance to do his own thing with the organization that gave him his chance, which is
they could be in a lot better situation. Either way.
Yeah.
Can't get any worse.
Certainly. Well, hey, I want to get into there's some more meetings. Before we do that, I want to mention check out the new Steelers Facebook group. Brought to you by Steelers Realm Podcast, but it's looking them up. Steelers Nation Local number 724. And Freight Train, you know what 724 stands for?
The area code around the Pittsburgh area.
That's it. That's us outer liars from the 412 area. I think CJ must have had to go take care of some business or something. But anyhow, he'll be back. So yeah, head out there, Steelers Nation Local number 724, Steelers Facebook group, and it's growing fast, man. We just welcomed Freight Train to the group. What was it, today or yesterday, dude? I don't know.
It was yesterday, and I was already posted. I was quick on the trigger, quick on it. Yes.
Oh, we appreciate it, man. So we need your support out there. And then speaking of support, you can buy us a coffee or a beer. We'll just probably put it towards some of our hosting costs. But go out at buymeacoffee.com/Steelers Realm and throw us a bone if you feel like it. If you like what you hear, keep us on there. We certainly appreciate that too. So, but anyhow, more news to touch base on with their the meetings. What was going on there? Anything come out of that so far? Any rule changes? Anything they're talking about?
They're talking about no more punting?
Yes.
What the?
Yeah.
Which would be great for the Steelers because Percy Harvin the 7th sucks. But yeah, they do this each and every year. You hear stupid stuff. The 3-point conversion, no punting, eliminating kickoffs. They're talking the talk just to talk.
Well, yeah, and the thing that bothers me is, okay, we want to pound safety, absolutely. If we can make the game safer for generations to come, Why not? But when you start taking aspects of the game in a 60-minute football game where field position is crucial, it's a game of field position. You take the punt out, you're taking that whole element out of the game. Now you're just completely changing the game up.
Player safety, player safety, player safety. Let's play 20 games, guys. 20 games.
Nobody
4
gets
days
hurt.
rest twice a year. Hey, we're going to start playing on Tuesdays now after Saturday.
Right.
Player safety said no more punts.
Right. Yeah. Just goofy. And I did see Tomlin went on there because he's on the rules committee, and he was not for it. He wants to keep the punt, just like I would assume that most of us would want that to happen.
Maybe they could get rid of offensive linemen too. Player safety, defensive linemen. Let's play 7-on-7. Let's roll it out.
Yep, air it out.
Maybe that's what the USFL should be doing right now. Straight 7-on-7, because what I've watched so far is absolute garbage.
7-on-7 scrum. There you go.
Give me a quarterback, a wide receiver, 3 wide. Yeah. No, give me a quarterback, a running back, 3 wide receivers. I don't even care what's on defense. There was more people at the local Tractor Supply than there was at that USFL games these weekends. It's bad.
Yeah, no, leave the punts, for God's sake. There's enough to fix in this game, and you can leave the football element of it alone. What's next? So you can't kick a field goal? Come on.
We can't have guys jumping over people. Player safety.
Yeah.
Too many.
Yeah. Well, hey, just put flags on them. On the return guys, just put flags on them.
I think that's what Terrell Edmonds thinks we are playing.
You've been listening in, haven't you?
Yes, I have, G.
You know how to get under my skin.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan.
Yeah.
I was hoping to come out with a Lima Swede comment, but it just hasn't came to fruition.
What a legend that guy is.
Yeah.
I am legend. Oh, that's too much. That's too much. Anything come out of those meetings? Have you heard anything else? Anything worth commenting on anyhow?
Not really. That was the biggest one I had seen.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, let's waste 30 seconds of everyone's life here for 1 second. Just want to throw this out there. Kaepernick in the news again. Is he getting a workout somewhere?
Yep. The Raiders.
Oh, who would have guessed?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to talk about an actual interesting story? I know it is the off season, a deep dive. We should actually go into a deep dive of what in the heck were the Oakland Raiders doing. I don't know if you guys saw their finance issues.
No.
People weren't paying the electric bill. People were legitimately, no one in accounts payable was working. So they racked up all these different debts when they were in Oakland. And when it came time to move, I don't want to get too much into it other than they owed pretty much in, what was the number? It was like 6 figures in utilities that they owed the city.
Oh my God.
Because no one in accounts payable was doing their job.
Wow.
But
Amazing.
to go to your point, JT, about the Kaepernick, I think it's just a PR stunt. I think there's something behind this. Whether it's, hey, we weren't, responsible for the Gruden stuff. We don't think that way here. We're going to work out Kaepernick. They're not going to put Kaepernick on their team. They just traded for Jared Stidham as the backup. They have, I can't think of their third stringer now. But then you have Derek Carr. Derek Carr is your starter. Derek Carr had one hell of a year last year. I just don't see any room on the roster for Colin Kaepernick. I really don't.
I would have a complete different angle on this if, was it 3 years ago, the NFL gave him a full dog and pony show to try out.
Oh
right?
my, yes.
And then he
Mhm.
said, well, I'm not doing it there. I'm doing it here last minute. And then there's confusion. And then there's just some other stuff. Colin Kaepernick had a great 3 years as an NFL starting quarterback. When he got benched, he was struggling. Do I think there was blowback from him taking the kneel during the national anthem? Absolutely.
Oh
Do I
yeah.
think it played a part in him not playing elsewhere? 100%.
A big part. A big part.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
They settled. Is a backup NFL quarterback. You're there to game plan, throw passes, and be ready to come into the game. When you become a distraction and you become bigger than what is all around you, no one wants that.
Right.
Because NFL head coaches are paid to win football games, not sit there and answer questions based on beliefs, feelings, thoughts, cares in the world. They're there to, did you put up a W this week or not?
Yeah.
Period.
I think this was more of a Mark Davis move than a Josh McDaniels move. Josh McDaniels knows. He's not an idiot.
He probably wasn't even there. Let's be honest. Josh
Right.
didn't attend it.
Yeah.
Hey, well, listen, while we're outside the realm here, one other thing, speaking of the Raiders, I saw where ESPN had posted Nevada judge ruled in favor of former Las Vegas Raiders coach John Gruden on 2 motions Wednesday, opening up the possibility of a jury trial on his tortious interference claim that the NFL and Commissioner Roger Goodell selectively leaked Gruden's emails to force his removal on October 11th. So that's not going away anytime soon.
No.
That'll be settled out of court, fellas, because the NFL does not want discovery. Period.
No,
So
John Gruden is trying to go Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton emails on the NFL, and they want no part of it.
You thought that contract that that he got to coach was absurd. Wait till the payout he gets from this.
Yeah, he won't be going back to ESPN. He'll be sitting on a beach somewhere.
He's going to buy an island. It's just absurd. It amazes me. It just amazes me, these big corporations throughout the entire country, not just the NFL, how you can have literally a layup and you just drop the ball and you're like, and just continue to do something stupid. And I'm not absolving Gruden for what he did or anything like that. That's just being a dumbass, period.
I think you're right. Mm-hmm.
I was just out here, guys. I don't know if the last time you've stopped out here, but some great vintage Steelers video and some stories on one of our buddies, SteelCityStar.com. If you guys haven't had a chance to go out and check them out, Steel City Star, they have one of our links out there too as well, from, I believe it was the Thomas Everett interview. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that was back in December 2020, but a great interview there and some great stuff. If it's kind of bored, want to look back into some Steeler history, and of course some great vintage video. I don't know where this guy gets this stuff, but anyhow, check him out, SteelCityStar.com, and on Twitter at SteelCityStar. So check out our boy and take in some great Steeler stuff while you're at there. Here, I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. Oh, that's not it. There we go. Steel City Star, vintage Steelers at Steel City Star or SteelCityStar.com. So hoping to hook back up with them again and do some more collaborating. We would discuss players in the off season or whatnot, and kind of coordinate with him, and he would dig some stuff out there from time to time too. So definitely check it out when you get a chance to. Great little resource. While we're outside the realm, anything else, guys, we want to touch on before we wrap up for this evening?
I think that's all I got. I mean, we could always talk about the QB situation, but we'll go another week on that one.
Yeah, certainly, and plenty of time for that to work out too. So, but anyhow, hey, we are still shooting for the training camp visit. Try to get everybody out there together and represent out at Latrobe. So, Freight Train, if you're up for making a trip and can get a day off one of those days, I will certainly throw some dates around and try to make a presence out there. Talk to some Steeler fans, get out and see some live stuff. I'm really looking forward to that this year. That's
Absolutely.
2 years in the making again.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, I really thought it after being away for 2 years that there was a strong possibility that the players would put up too much of a fit and like being, not being locked up in little old Latrobe, PA, for training camp. And I thought that might be the end of it forever, but I'm glad they're going back too. So looking forward to getting down there, hanging out with Steeler Nation again too. So, all right, guys, let's wrap it up. Any plans for the weekend? Big holiday weekend coming up.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Lots of baseball.
It is officially wedding season, and I've never been happier.
Oh, yeah? Getting married?
Nope. Just attending a bunch.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe I'll find the right one, though.
Well, hey, a lot of single women go to those, too. There's a lot of single women there. To be young and single again. How about you, Freight Train? Got any plans for the weekend? Other baseball?
Yeah, I got my son's games. Try to catch a Guardians game maybe this weekend. Their season's starting to go back down the tubes, much like the Pirates. So we'll both be singing the blues here in about a month with our baseball teams. So
now, when they changed their name, could you exchange jerseys or gear or anything like that?
You could, but I didn't. Yeah. I like that vintage stuff.
Yes,
yeah. I still catch myself calling them the Indians, and I have to go, whoa, wait, what?
If you get your hands smacked,
right? Yes, yeah.
No, that's what I thought. If I had some Indians gear and stuff like that, if I would exchange it or hold on to it, and eventually it's going to be a collectible.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I would have kept it.
Yeah, I'm a big memorabilia guy, so that'll be going into my personal archives. So, which I need to send you guys some pictures of what I have in my Steelers archives. I think you'd be really impressed.
Definitely. Well, I'm interested what's over your shoulder. Maybe you could tell us.
The picture?
Yeah, the picture behind your.
Oh yeah, it's a canvas of Heinz Field back. I can't remember the year. I don't know if you see it, but it's against the Atlanta Falcons, and if you remember correctly, it went into overtime. No, it was not a tie. It was not the Plexico Burris. It was the Rashard Mendenhall run to end the game against the Falcons.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that's a picture of the stadium.
Were you there?
I was not there. I was watching it on TV, though. But I went to the local shop, and I saw that and had to buy it. So
I'll have to break out a little something I'm pretty proud of, too. We'll not do it tonight, but I'll break it out another night, too. But it is from, I think, early 90s. We were playing Cincinnati. It was when Three Rivers Stadium was still up. Let's put it that way. And my mother did this for me. God rest her soul. She went to them. There was an opportunity to get your name on the scoreboard in between plays and stuff. And so, and then they have a photographer that'll take a picture of that while it's up there. And I have that framed. It's pretty cool. It was my DJ business, mobile DJ business, but I'm on the scoreboard in the Three Rivers Stadium. And what's cool about it is that the ball had just got handed off to Jerome, and he was about to hit this gaping hole that was about 5 people wide that you could see. It was like, it was great though, but that's something I'm pretty proud of too. So I'll have to I'll have to get dust it off, and show it to you too. So,
and
CJ,
I also,
you got your memorabilia too, man.
I'll break it out. I got something interesting.
There you go.
I also have one of the largest Ben Roethlisberger sports cards collections.
Wow.
So I will have to send some photos of that as well. Last time I counted, I was well over 2,000.
For those in the Facebook group that are listening to us, why don't you guys post your favorite Steelers memorabilia? Post it in the Facebook group, and maybe we'll take a vote on who's got the best collection.
Or
Absolutely.
single item.
Yeah, favorite item. Let's do that. Your favorite Steelers item.
All right, we'll throw a poll out there,
Mm-hmm.
and or just a question. We'll throw it out there for conversation too. Good idea, guys. Well, hey, there's nothing else, man. Let's hope we give a good rest of the OTAs this week. Steeler Nation, careful in the hot tub, man. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll catch you next time. We'll see you guys. Freight Train, great to have you, man. CJ, good to see you again, buddy. You guys have a good.
Everyone have a safe Memorial Day weekend.
Sounds good. Freight Train, tell them good night. Do we lose them?
Check back next week into the Steelers realm.